It's late at night. We hope you're doing well. And now, if you don't mind, we're going to get to the news. President Biden announced new protections today for hundreds of thousands of undocumented immigrants who've been living in the country illegally but are married to American citizens. This just in, 90 Day Fiancé has been renewed for 20 more seasons. Good news for fans of the show. That's right. President Biden announced a new executive action on immigration that will protect immigrants who are married to U.S. citizens from deportation. It's the first time a U.S. president has done something nice for Melania. President Biden is set to travel on Thursday to Camp David to begin preparations for next week's debate against former President Trump, though I don't know if that's the best way to prepare for that. He should just ride the subway and make eye contact with a lunatic. That's right, President Biden will go to Camp David to prepare for next week's debate, while Trump will be preparing he's not preparing. Come on, guys. Just leave a couple of Red Bulls on the podium. But could you pre-crack them for me? I don't want to be worried about the crack during one of my salient points. Turns out, based on how I do it, when Trump says salient, he drools a little bit. Well, that's only based on how I do it. I don't know if that's what happens here. The Biden campaign is reportedly considering accepting donations in cryptocurrency. Well, good luck explaining that to the president. I doubt he even knows what Venmo is. Somebody buys you a slice of pizza, you write him a check. That's right, the Biden campaign will consider accepting donations in cryptocurrency, while RFK Jr. has begun accepting canned goods and gently worn clothing. Russian President Vladimir Putin is meeting this week with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. The meeting will help Kim Jong-un feel like part of the international community, and it will help Putin feel tall. The author of the upcoming book, Apprentice in Wonderland, said in a new interview that former President Trump has, quote, severe memory issues. Same here, said undecided voters. I feel like I know that dude from somewhere. That's right, the author of an upcoming book said in a new interview that Trump has, quote, severe memory issues. Yeah, I mean, he couldn't even remember that he was married. McDonald's said last week that it's removing artificial intelligence technology from more than 100 drive-thrus. Apparently, it had started telling people they should go somewhere else and get a salad. Save yourself, human. Oh no, my boss is coming. Yes, French fries. An NYU freshman was arrested recently after she allegedly stole more than $50,000 in luxury goods from her roommate. Apparently, she stole all 5 of her textbooks. A Great Dane in Iowa recently set the Guinness World Record for world's tallest living dog at 3 feet and 2 inches, but even his Tinder profile says he's 3'5". And finally, the restaurant chain Hooters has launched a new line of frozen foods. Find it in the clearly going through some stuff aisle. I'm gonna have some Hooters tonight. But at home Hooters. Because I like the food. That was a monologue, everybody. We're off. We got a really special show for you tonight. In the 1980s, this guy kept SNL alive. Without him, I'm not sure I'd be here. So a lot of us owe him everything. He starred in so many iconic films, including 48 Hours, Trading Places, Coming to America, The Nutty Professor, and Dreamgirls. He returns as Axel Foley in Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F. on Netflix July 3rd. The one, the only Eddie Murphy is here in studio tonight. How about that? How about that? And she is a New York Times best-selling author whose fantastic new book, One of Our Kind, is on sale now. Nicola Yoon will also be joining us, so we've got a great show tonight. My brother and I had a wonderful conversation with a great comedian, Alex Edelman, on Family Trips this week. Do listen to that wherever you get your podcasts. And now, moving on. You guys, I don't have to tell you, summer just around the corner. New York, about to experience a brutal heat wave. Everyone is sweaty. and exhausted, and that includes my writers. You know, they write. They're always a little sweaty and exhausted. But the hotter it gets, obviously, the worse it gets. You know, they write hundreds of jokes every day just to get the 10 or 12 we use in the monologue. And honestly, a lot of those jokes just aren't good. Sometimes I think they throw in a few stinkers on purpose just to fill the page and meet the assignment. But just because it's oppressively hot, that doesn't mean we can tolerate laziness, which means it's time for another surprise inspection. So here's how this works. I'm gonna read some real jokes, really submitted by my writers, that are unusable for the show. The show that pays them to write usable jokes. Some are dumb, some are offensive, some are just insane. Most importantly, the writers don't know we're doing this, and because a lot of them don't watch the show, they'll never know. So let's get started. According to a new poll, former President Trump is leading President Biden by double digits in Iowa because he paid off a corn star. So in that case, a professional comedy writer was sitting at their computer, realized corn rhymed with porn. It was just like, I'm like Oppenheimer for jokes. Tyson Foods announced last week that it has suspended CFO John R. Tyson after he was charged with driving under the influence. Even worse, he tried getting out of it by showing the officer a little leg. Brian wrote that joke. That's what Brian looks like. It looks like exactly the guy who would write that joke. That's not Brian. We said to AI, make a picture of a guy you thought wrote that joke. And it just looked exactly like Brian. The world's 50 Best Restaurants Award ceremony was held last night, and a restaurant in Barcelona received the top prize, or should I say top prize. Allie wrote that joke, and in the end, it's really not a joke about the news story. It's just a joke about the way Barcelona pronounces words. A British woman was arrested yesterday after she allegedly threw a milkshake at UK politician Nigel Farage. So I guess her milkshake brought all the boys to Scotland Yard. And Matt here will be going to joke jail. Cool, Matt. Today was Take Your Cat to Work Day. Okay, but that didn't work out great for Roy. I regret to inform you we're now in the Scollins zone. Mike Scollins, remember that face. Mike Scollins writes the ones that make you the saddest. A museum recently opened in Arizona that displays the world's largest collection of fossilized poop. Or if you really want to see a piece of crap, check out the Louvre. All right. Remember that. According to a new study, women have better cognitive functioning while they are menstruating. Now, before I go any further, I want to let you know he wrote this. We've established who he is. You all know who he is. Do you want me to keep going? Can you all sign a legal document? According to a new study, women have better cognitive functioning while they're menstruating. So if a guy asks if you're on your period, take the compliment. That's how he comes into my office. He's like, did it again. Netflix yesterday announced it will live stream a competitive eating event titled Unfinished Beef, not to be confused with their new dating show, Porkin' Around. Golditch. According to a new study, a sugar substitute that is used in sugar-free gum has been linked to an increased risk of heart attack. Who's the idiot now? Said the fifth dentist. The last one is a Scollins joke, so if you want to leave now, you can. And finally, McDonald's is offering a new McFlurry flavor inspired by grandmothers. It's close, said Grandpa. Oh my God, he wrote a jump scare. There he is. That's my boy. I love him. I love him. This has been Surprise Inspection.